I know we were gonna talk about recruiting efforts. You had a really big recruiting weekend, and actually 2 or 3 of the guys I actually liked it. To be honest with you, so man, you can go ahead and go down that list.
You know the one that stands out the most from the recent ones they got is the one they got Friday, or was that Friday or Thursday? Thursday was Brandon Bennett, the wide receiver from American Heritage. Of course, FSU has strong ties to American Heritage. With Sertan coaching there, actually, our cornerback Zay Thomas, in 25 class played there. He was been his teammate. So the thing I like about this kid is that the numbers aren't gaudy, but he's averaged over 21 yards per reception each year the last 2 years.
Right.
So he has 479 yards and 509 the last 2 years, but he's done it on 21 and 24 receptions.
Right.
So he's obviously really, really good with the ball in his hand. Plus he has track speed. He runs track too. So he's definitely an intriguing guy. I know he was projected to us. I'm kind of iffy on the projection sometimes because, I've seen some and then, it don't always turn out that way. But this one actually came to fruition because it was last Monday when they predicted him to come here, and then, he ended up signing. So he's definitely one of the guy that he landed in 26 that I'm probably the most excited about.
Right.
I don't know if you know a whole lot about his game, if you heard a lot about him, but do you have any thoughts on him?
No, I haven't even looked at his tape or anything like that, to be honest with you. I thought he was I haven't looked at his tape, but size, high school pedigree, I pretty much like the tape. I'm if you get somebody from American Heritage, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a pretty big program. They do a lot of great things out there in American Heritage, so I'm not gonna really hate on that take. I think that's a decent take, to be honest with
you. Yeah, and then obviously today they got another guy, James Carrington, the defensive lineman from California. It was crazy because he was on his visit this weekend, and then they had 2 predictions come out today. One from Zach, I think it's Blowstein, that's how you say his name. With 247, also Steve Whitfarm with on 3. They both projected him to land Florida State this morning.
Right.
And then a couple hours later, he committed. So, and not only did he commit, but he shut down his recruitment too. And that part made me the happiest. You know what I'm saying? Like for a guy to commit here and immediately shut down recruiting. I mean, that's like music in my ears right there, because Florida State lately, guys commit. It's always like, yeah, he commit right now, but it's early in the year. You still got the season. You still got the, when guys really start committing, finalizing them commit, like during the season. So I'm always worried about that. But the fact that he went ahead and shut it down makes me really happy. And he's very productive. I mean, 24 sacks over the last 2 years.
Right.
So I think he was a Max Preps sophomore All-American, as a matter of fact.
Right.
So yeah, he's he looks to be really in with the program, because he was just tweeting stuff, and he always talking about I'm ready to be part of the row and all that. So he's already Terrence Knighton's already got into him. He's talking about the death row stuff. So yeah, man, I'm actually excited about both of them. I like his production. In fact, they went all the way to Cali and got a guy surprised. I don't really always like them going out west too much, but if you can snag a guy that's like him, that's got high upside. Of course, he's gonna have to be developed and all that, but I was definitely glad they got him. Give him some hope. So I think when they got him, I think they moved up about 5 or 6 spots in the rankings as far as a recruiting class. So that definitely helped. So because I think Florida State had dropped into the 30s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mike does his best work. We in the 30s and the 40s. He found a way to get back to 17. So
get back to 15. He'll have this flurry.
Yeah.
Over a couple of weeks, and we'll literally be all the way, borderline top 10ish. So, I'm just really hoping, man, that they gotten 3 guys over the last week. And I know only one of them is kind of like a blue chip guy, and I know this kid Carrington is kind of like a borderline blue chip guy.
Right.
I think ESPN or Rivals, one of them, they have him as a 4-star guy. But for me, it's just with him. Like I said, the thing was just the fact that he shut down his recruitment. So that means he's really in. So he obviously believes in what we got going on. He trusts Terrence Knight, so he'll be one of the ones that when they come in next year, I'll be putting a pin in and keeping an eye on. So.
Yeah, I think the Bennett kid, good take. We'll see about the Carrington kid. He seems a little undersized, especially if you're gonna be
Yeah,
running
he is.
5. I would think you
Yeah,
would
he's
want.
like 260, I think.
Yeah, but somebody said he had like a 8-inch wingspan, so I'm guessing he's long, but he's just
Okay.
short. So he could be. That could be something. I won't say it. I won't say it won't be something. It could be something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely agree.
and they brought in the Jaden ONeal kid, quarterback.
Yeah, again, yeah.
So
I
that's
think they're really locked in on him for 26. I think they're really locked in on trying to flip him, especially once Duckworth,
mhm,
got his down to South Carolina and Auburn.
right.
I think the shift um, really went to O'Neal. They seem to really like him because he keeps coming back for visits, stuff like that. He's been on several in the last couple of months, if I'm not mistaken. So
Right.
it looks like he's probably their prize 2026 quarterback right now. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because they
They
seem to
gotta
have
get
they had a
they
lot of
gotta get
interaction
him.
with him.
They gotta get him, man. They need a quarterback in this class.
Yes.
They need somebody that can anchor the class. So I think getting the right type of quarterback could be a big deal, to be honest with you. So
hmm
we'll
hmm
see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see. Um